just sitting here alone all by myself. I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody. Nemo, how's my voice? Nemo, how's my voice? We are experimenting with a couple of volume settings. There literally is nothing on StreamYard to help us measure how or level out the sound of my voice and the sound of the things that we play. So, not much I can do except play with the control on my microphone and, try to do settings in the StreamYard software. So that's about all I can say with that. Good morning, everybody. We are here, and we are on another Sunday. We've got a really cool news panel set for 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. where it counts, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. For tonight, it is Saturday on a Sunday, since we didn't have a broadcast last night. We are here, and we've got 5 stories, 4 current, and a flashback for you, with some rather weird stuff going on. I'm going to give you a preview of tomorrow. Tomorrow, Turtle Boy has already announced that since on Friday, because Lindsay Gaetini was on scene and she has a protection order against him, and he couldn't be near her in the crowd, he's bringing his ex-girlfriend with him, who has a protection order against Kate Peter, to go along with his protection order against Kate Peter in order to cancel out Kate Peter from being in the crowd. Is anyone following this at home? Because it's sort of giving me a headache. But we will be covering it for the news tomorrow as they enter just another day of deliberations. We'll also see if the planned Back the Blue parade happened today. It was supposed to be a gathering at the courthouse. I don't know if it was for today or not, but they were rumbling about it for today and possibly tomorrow. And yes, Linux Guy says Aiden is incredibly pretty. We agree with you wholeheartedly now that he's going to be a movie star, but we aren't going to spoil that one. That's coming up in the news. Anyway, we are going to jump into things, and we've got about 15 minutes of news, then I'll be back with you with news on Pope Phil and the sisterhood, or the spaceship of the Fellowship of the Sisters of Pants. Oh yeah, it's a new one. Pope Phil has words for you all. DeCastro finishes second in GoFundMe race. Saturday's GoFundMe race saw a total of $20 donated between Jose Chile DeCastro's Legal Aid Fund, Donation Fund, Help People Fund, and our own Really Cool Site's Ongoing Expense Fund, with DeCastro's fund taking in $5 for second place. We received our first email generated from the GoFundMe on Saturday as well, which was a surprise since we run a tiny campaign and we weren't aware that GoFundMe allowed people to send direct mails to those who run those campaigns. The words of wisdom came in the following unaltered message from a user named MarkWelby70. Dude, if you need funds, get a job. Chili said that. End of message. Not sure what to make of that one, as on one hand, yeah, we're not making much money, but on the other, that little money we're making beat DeCastro's take from yesterday. Again. Think about it. That means his empire of 581,000 subscribers, up 400,000 subscribers from this time last year, was beaten by our tiny subscriber base of 363 viewers, one of whom donated probably out of spite just to make me keep doing this column every morning. The whole thing is odd, but not yet on the level of that guy who thinks I'm scamming people by asking for help by going to our Amazon registry and buying wet cat food. I don't even have the registry link in any of our promotional scrolls except for the website, and I thank every one of you who have helped out for that. We're doing okay for this month. On that note, since we've had so many requests, I may stick a Ring doorbell or some sort of external camera on the critter list. If it's portable and someone donates it, I'll either stick it on the front or back porch, depending on which group of animals is around, and broadcast from time to time if you really want to see the scariness that is Hank's raccoon army. Or maybe that fickle yapping cutie pie comes to burn down my house, finally, after a year of threatening a visit, and we'll get it on camera for the world to see. Please let me know if that's something you'd like to see added. Psst. Say something inside chat, and I'll get something on the critter list this week if anyone wants to help. Preferred wireless, rechargeable, and indoor/outdoor. Since I only know how to build computers, I'm not much help wiring anything else. In an entirely non-Daffy Duck meets Elmer Fudd way, thank you. While getting a full-time job remains an option, we're good for another month. We're not splurging on things for ourselves. Gonna be another month or two before my birthday before we get Baldur's Gate 3. But we're making payments and we're supporting our basic needs off of donations towards continuing our work, and for that I'll forever be in your debt. You rock. Thank you. Daffy Duck meets Elmer Fudd will return tomorrow, and the fickle yapping cutie pie will be able to turn 3 minutes of this mush into another 5 hours of entertainment. So we're paying it forward by not throwing in the towel. Woohoo! If you'd like to become one of the wonderful readers who like to torture me and keep me writing this wretched column every morning, we do have a GoFundMe listed in the scroll below. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. Chaos in Canton continues again. The Canton Chronicles got a bit weirder this weekend as no verdict in the Karen Reed murder trial and nothing to do for 2 whole days has left everyone a bit bored and weird. Aidan Turtleboy Kearney has yet to top last week's performance, where he literally staged an incident with members of the Albert and McCabe families in order to expose them as tyrants as he paraded around across the street from an Albert business on a live stream. This weekend, he's decided to continue to take credit for the anti-Karen Reed protest group that showed up at Friday's tailgating party put up by the pro-Karen Reed group during jury deliberations. Stung by the pro-Karen Reed group's endorsement of Nick and Jenna Rocco on Friday that was aired on the Law and Crime Network, he continued to post memes taking credit for the group of counter-protesters. Somewhere in Turtle Time, telling everyone that no one truly hates Karen Reed or thinks she's guilty. They instead hate him enough to hurt her is a normal thing. It's something to take credit for, and something that people should remember about this trial. They hate him, not Karen Reed, and because of it, Karen Reed is innocent. I think that was a question. Oh, my brain hurts. Both Turtleboy Kearney and his former girlfriend Lindsay Gaetini have announced that movies are being made about them. Aidan Kearney tweeted to status, "I guess the cat's out of the bag. I have signed an agreement to greenlight a Hollywood movie about my coverage of the Karen Reed case. I'm also working on a book and a podcast. More details will come in an official announcement in the coming weeks." Twitter yesterday, 9:46 p.m., followed by Lindsay Gaetini. Hi everyone. With recent news emerging, it's time to finally announce some exciting news that I've had to keep quiet for some time. After the blogger assaulted, blackmailed, and wiretapped me, he was sent to jail for 60 days. Shortly after he began his sentence, I was approached by a well-known producer to showcase my story in a major motion picture. Filming begins next week, and I am thrilled that the producer has allowed me to be so hands-on with making sure that the story is accurately depicted. Hint, The lead actor is someone you guys are going to be very excited about. Thank you, everyone who has supported me throughout this nightmare. X Twitter yesterday, 10:40 p.m. Neither tweet has been confirmed, but both came from each person's confirmed accounts. We just hope they get Kearney's special couch in his movie. It's more famous than he is. Deliberations continue on Monday. Benson wishes come true. A jubilant Regan Benson got her wish as Englewood, Colorado Police Chief Sam Watson announced his retirement. Benson wrote on her YouTube community page, Regan Benson, 15 hours ago, Englewood, Colorado. Sam Watson has been with Englewood PD since 1998. He has been chief for less than 3 years. If you stick around long enough, that apparently makes you smart enough to collect the top pay for the least amount of work and a bonus of zero accountability for how you lead. He should be fired. He's instead retiring. We know how this works. They'll throw him a big taxpayer-supported party and anoint him like a ruler with stolen taxpayer money. Steer the course. Relentlessly apply the pressure. Keep exposing their war against the people. Bye, Sam. Colorado's Fox 31 reported that Watson had headed multiple police divisions, including support services, special operations, and patrol operations, before taking over as police chief in 2021. Benson had been at odds with Watson since he assumed the title, as she claims he refuses to respond to her emails and has stated on multiple occasions that she felt that Watson has instructed his officers to take her out if given a chance. Strangely, while Benson acknowledged the chief's departure, she did not address the Supreme Court's ruling last week that upheld a lower court ruling for cities to enforce camping bans within their confines, effectively giving the cities the power to arrest homeless people for sleeping on city streets. Benson had rallied against the laws in the past, and her silence on something so important to her work is strange, as she runs a 501c3 organization devoting to helping the homeless. She claims that her vendetta against the Colorado cities of Denver, Englewood, and Sheridan are based on her desire to help on behalf of her tax-free organization. Englewood City Council is set to convene tomorrow night. Benson is expected to speak as part of the public feedback portion of the meeting. Ideas few and far between in Carolina's simulcast. Those looking for guidance on how to capitalize on the drama surrounding last week's incident between Carolina, and Fort Worth Rodriguez and Officer Matthew Kruger of the Fort Worth Police Department were disappointed as they tuned into yesterday's broadcast. The simulcast was billed by Rodriguez as a broadcast that would feature legal and constitutional scholars Christopher Denver Metro Audits and Leroy the Truth, expounding on Rodriguez's paths forward as she takes on Fort Worth in both criminal and civil court. Instead, viewers waited for over 20 minutes for the broadcast to start, which was carried live on Cordova and Leroy's channels. Cordova said he forgot to hit the go live in the StreamYard software before the panel began deliberating. Once live, ideas were few and far between, as the trio became a foursome and YouTuber Christopher Direct D. Ruff joined. Ruff listened intently to the light conversation for a few minutes before, apparently in an act of desperation, got his bong out and began to take hits instead of actively participating in the conversation. The key ideas presented before most people bailed on the broadcast started with the idea that the media is biased against Rodriguez as they delivered balanced coverage and did not crucify Kruger or delve into Kruger's extensive supposed troubles during his career. Rodriguez also complained that no one explained that she was several feet from the female officers she had followed before the incident and that her camera was zoomed in on them. Her swearing was not heard by the officers, and she only yelled to get their attention as she was so far away from them. She also claimed that she could not obstruct Officer Kruger as she knew the man and was not threatened by him. She did not hear his first instructions to move across the street as she was standing in an active crime scene, which is why she questioned why she needed to move from her spot. The trio, minus Ruff, who is now glassy-eyed and focused on his bong, complained that the Fort Worth City Council was now on planned summer break and would not be back in session until August. Rodriguez urged her fans to attend that meeting to speak on her behalf. They then had an extensive conversation that the community should come together to produce a show that would be a counterpart to the long-running Cops TV program. The premise apparently would be that a camera crew would be stationed with First Amendment auditors and would expose corrupt police officers as they hassled the First Amendment auditors. Ruff chimed in at this point to say he wouldn't participate if the entire First Amendment auditing community was involved in the production, saying that he hated some of the people in the community and he was not a people person, before taking another hit from his bong. Ultimately, the panel provided no real answers and remained leaderless as they meandered through the remainder of the broadcast. Christopher Cordova may appear at the Inglewood, Colorado City Council meeting tomorrow night, where he typically gives speeches on the constitutionality of displaying pornography in public libraries. Flashback, June 30th, 2023. Judge rules against DeCastro. Jose Chile de Castro had a minor setback in his ongoing harassment and defamation lawsuit against Kate Peter, Blue Bacon, Team Skeptic, Daniel Clement, and 50 John Doe YouTube creators in a California Superior Court case on Friday, as a judge denied his most recent motion while setting a trial date. De Castro was seeking to recover costs of serving Michael Blue Bacon Paratini at a scheduled hearing in the lawsuit on Friday, which was held concurrently with the rescheduled case management hearing. Both De Castro, who had missed Tuesday's scheduled case management hearing due to technical issues, and Bacon were in attendance via Zoom. According to Bacon's account, Bacon confirmed that he was seeking advice with legal counsel when asked by the judge as the event started. De Castro said he was not seeking legal help at this time, and he had a team working with him. The judge briefly discussed the requirement to meet and confer under previous orders, and the judge ruled that neither side could record their conversations. According to Bacon's account, the judge briefly discussed the requirement to meet and confirm under previous orders, and the judge ruled that neither side could record their conversations. According to Bacon's account, the judge officially waived the need to communicate via voice call, as most of the pretrial conditions could be met via email. The judge ordered Bacon, or Bacon's new counsel, to file a response pleading to his anti-SLAPP ruling by August 1, 2023. The judge then set a status conference meeting for August 28, 2024, and a final status conference for February 10, 2025. The jury trial in the case was then scheduled for February 24, 2025. Again, according to Bacon's account, Judge Ford admonished both men for improperly formatting and filing their motions. When De Castro inquired about help with formatting and with serving Daniel Clement and Team Skeptic, the judge indicated that he would put some formatting notes in his ruling and urged both men to seek legal representation or visit a law library in order to learn how to properly format motions in the future. Judge Ford denied De Castro's request for compensation for his service of Bacon, writing, "Plaintiff Jose De Castro's motion without notice to recover costs of personal service on Michael Paratini is denied. If the person to whom a copy of the summons and the complaint are mailed pursuant to this section fails to complete and return the acknowledgement form set forth in Subdivision B within 20 days from the date of such mailing, the party to whom the summons was mailed shall be liable for reasonable expenses therefore incurred in serving or attempting to serve the party by another method permitted by this chapter, and, except for good cause shown, the court in which the action is pending upon motion with or without notice shall award the party such expenses whether or not he is otherwise entitled to recover his costs in the action." As the moving party, it is De Castro's burden to submit competent evidence in support of this motion. De Castro claims the summons and the complaint was mailed to Paratini with a notice of acknowledgement and receipt pursuant to CCP 415.30D. DeCastro claims Paratini refused to accept service and did not return the signed NAR. DeCastro fails to submit any evidence that proper service pursuant to 415.30 was attempted and fails to submit any evidence supporting costs in the amount of $145. As promised, Judge Ford included criticisms of DeCastro's recent motions and included tips of how to properly format motions before ending with an admonishment of both men. Judge Ford wrote, "Both parties are admonished to fully comply with the requirements relating to the filing of motions or other papers with the court and are encouraged to seek help of a lawyer if able."
And that's it for tonight, folks. We still have the post-credit scene coming up. And for that last one, DeCastro was seeking $145 because his service person tried to serve the roommate of Michael Paratini, who is a head shorter, blonder, and much heavier than Blue Bacon. So because he couldn't serve Paratini, he was trying to charge Paratini $145 for the service. Yeah, that's chilly logic. Anyway, we're going to be out of here in a second. Hope everyone had a good Sunday. I've been dodging storms all night, and of course my voice is going. So on that note, we're going to hit the closing credits, and then you'll have your wonderful post-credit scene. Remember, tonight we're doing a panel at 8 o'clock Eastern.